All right, guys, welcome back to the Build for More podcast. I am your host, Paco. If you guys don't know who I am, I've been able to scale my barber business from $20 a haircut to close to $100 a haircut in a very small town. And now I'm trying this whole podcast thing where I'm trying to find stories, find breakthroughs, and just get different perspectives around the barber industry. And today I have Eddie. He has a great story and a great perspective on a number of things that we're going to touch bases on today. But Eddie, you want to introduce yourself, bro?
Yes, thanks for having me, Paco. My name's Eddie Portillo. I am based out of Visalia, California. My Instagram handle is Salvi Styles, Salvi Styles with the Z at the end.
Okay.
And I am about halfway through barber school right now at East to West Barber Academy, and I just recently joined a movement with the Sensory Safe Solution, a nonprofit charity. And what we do is we are working with a big problem in our industry, and that's providing services for individuals with sensory needs, people on the spectrum. So I did recently take their certification, and then I also took their training program to be able to educate professionals and students in the hair and beauty industry.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So let's start from the beginning. So what essentially got you started into cutting hair? Because you've been cutting for how long now?
So I've been cutting hair for a whopping, let's say, 6-8 months. I never cut hair before.
Oh, really?
Actually, school.
Oh, wow. So you just went in and hoping for the best, which is not a bad thing, in my opinion. I know a lot of people that went into school and never put the clipper in their life, and now they're doing fairly well in the industry. So,
I believe it.
So that's pretty cool, man. So what really inspired you to
so
the clipper and stuff like that?
I did sales for over 10 years, and I was working with a wireless company, and okay. I had the whole 9 to 5, the 3 weeks of paid vacation. Didn't like it, but I still wanted to squeeze in 2 more years so that way I can get 4 weeks of paid vacation. And eventually I just looked at everything and I'm like, man, do I really want to be doing this in 5 years? And I was like, definitely not. I made a career change. I switched to auto sales, and I worked for a Toyota dealership.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And this was during COVID. So after a month of training, when I was in the second month where I was full on sales, I crushed it. 2 months in a row, I crushed it. And it was more money than I've ever made before. And ironically, after those 2 months, I knew instantly, I was like, This is not it. This is not it. I did that for about 3 years. And then I started, and this was actually, I was in LA. I had moved to LA. So I started doing research. Okay, what do I want to do? I definitely want to do something that I can be more independent. I definitely want to be investing into my own business. And I do have relatives that are in the hair and beauty industry.
Oh, really?
I have some cousins that are barbers. I did my research, and I found a school in my hometown, and I eventually pulled the trigger. And
so you've been back and forth with it, trying to.
I thought about it for a good year. The only thing that kind of I was iffy about, to be honest, was hair being everywhere, hair being on my clothes, on my arms, and I'm like, man, I don't really want to know if I want to deal with that. And I Googled everything, how to do, and they said, you have all these different types of clothing gear that you could wear.
When I started cutting hair, it was in the time where barbering wasn't really seen as a career. So we didn't have all the stuff that we have today. Now you can actually buy smocks that prevent you from getting hair all over you. Gloves are way more what's it called? They're a lot more a better quality for your hands. Personally, for me, I don't use any of those things. I've been cutting hair for almost 10 years now, so I'm already used to this.
If I'm using clippers, I'm using gloves. To the hair splinters.
Oh, they suck, bro.
Yeah,
they suck.
I got a couple of them.
Yeah, they suck. They actually feel like actual wood.
Yeah,
wood.
Yeah. I even got one under my nail.
That's painful. A lot of people do not know that barbering could be an extreme sport.
Yeah,
Extreme sport, but No, it's pretty dope, dude. That you actually took a risk, because it's really hard, believe it or not. A lot of people have a hard time even thinking about taking a risk, but especially on themselves.
Absolutely.
And you that you have a sales background, you already kind of know how to talk to the client and how
Absolutely.
to how to put their pain points out there and find a solution. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be able to charge high prices or make very, very good living off cutting hair, is you have to solve a problem with
Yeah.
hair. And if you can do that, you can literally charge anything, because people pay for value.
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that, because I was definitely nervous about this whole new thing. And once I got into it, I kept on hearing more professionals say you can be an amazing hair cutter, but if your customer service and all that stuff is not on point, like,
Dude,
people that are amazing at business, customer service, and their
excel.
haircuts are mid, and
They excel.
so I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
so my haircuts don't have to be on
Yeah.
point as
No.
long as I don't mess them up.
At the end,
I'm down.
At the end
Let's
of the,
go.
At the end of the day, bro, I definitely think that running a barber business, for the most part, is common sense. It takes a lot of common sense. Like, just be there for your clients, have a good conversation with your client, treat them the way you would want to be treated, first of all, because
Absolutely.
nowadays we have nowadays the barber industry has gone so saturated, where it's a great time to be a barber, because you can literally stand out
Absolutely.
amongst a bunch of barbers. You can stand out and literally be that one barber that you need, that people go to, because of how you treat people. If you can give a good haircut, right? If you can give a good haircut, at least passing haircut,
Yeah,
you
right.
treat them with, like, with the best, and you show up for them at their appointment time, don't move their appointment around and stuff like that, dude. You have a winning business, But one of the things that I've learned, especially now that I charge high ticket, is people have this trust when they pay high ticket. I mean, I'm sure you've been there too.
Absolutely.
When you pay high ticket for anything,
Yeah.
you trust it before you even open it or pay for it. You have some kind of trust, to the point where, like, this is above price, and I know that I'm gonna get what I paid for, because I'm paying XYZ. Opposed to when you're paying a little bit lower, you're kind of like, okay, it was $40,
Yeah.
whatever, right? So that's one of the things that I can definitely elaborate on. Is the easiest thing to run a barber business is just be there for your clients. It's to show up every day, right? Just show up every single day, But, like, what is, like, one haircut right now that you feel like is extremely popular in the barber space that you're doing right now?
One haircut that's extremely popular, definitely the tapers. So you have like a low taper, and then on the top they're either getting a comb over, or they're getting a fringe, and then after that, then you have your mid fades with the croc.
Right,
with your comb over.
That's I feel like a lot of people are keeping the hair nowadays. I mean, I literally that's what I see nowadays too. Is I'm doing a lot of tapers, more than I ever have in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I actually hate doing tapers, believe it or not. But I ended up actually liking them. So, like, what is, like, a big struggle that you notice for students, and including yourself, being in barber school?
Big struggle. I'm sure you heard this before, is shear work. Yeah, working with shears, that's one of my favorite. I love working with long hair. I love working with shears. Believe it or not, I'd rather use shears than clippers. Just
It's crazy.
clipper.
My mindset and my paradigm shift a lot these past couple, I think 2 years now, that I've actually taken precision cutting very serious, because like I said before, a lot of people are keeping their hair nowadays. Like back in the day, you would just get a buzz and call it a day. But I think when I was in barber school, a lot of barbers just focused on getting that blended fade. That was it. I didn't care about scissors then.
Yeah.
Now it's like, damn, I should have.
It's blown up.
Yeah, it's blowing up
for sure.
Yeah, So it's crazy, because now that I'm doing it more, that's all I specialize in now. Is I get a lot of scissor work, which is
nice.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But yeah, dude. So you said you were in sales and you worked at 95. Like, are you cutting on the side right now, or?
Right now, I'm full on school, and then doing the education with the sensory safe solution. probably gonna look at another side hustle soon.
Yes, you're okay. Okay. And so how's that going with the whole sensory thing? Like how's it?
So I have my first course right here in Visalia. It's gonna be on Tuesday,
Okay.
January 24th at 6:30. So we're gonna have the first course in Visalia, the first course that I've done since I joined the organization.
Oh, really?
So pretty
And how's the
stoked
experience
about that.
been and stuff like that? Like,
It's pretty awesome. I've had a couple of clients since I got sensory certified. I've had a couple of clients that were on the autism spectrum. So actually seeing, like, providing the service and cutting their hair, and with what you're just like, all right, this is dope. Like, this, everything we learn, like, helps out a lot.
definitely. So like what like how has it helped you and like your career and stuff like that, like moving forward with?
So funny you asked that. Well, when I first got into the industry, I'm just thinking, okay, I got to learn to cut hair, business. And then I learned about hair shows. And then I went to a hair show and I took this course and I really fell in love with it. And then this gave me another sense of purpose
Right.
in life and in this industry. So now it's like, it's another fuel for this profession that I have.
That's awesome, bro. It's like I have never heard of what you're doing, and that's honestly very inspiring, which inspires me to even look into getting certified in that area.
Absolutely.
Because, that can benefit the shop and everybody here, and I don't mind learning more from what I already know. But like, let's dive into like the framework that you teach and the core steps and the pillar of the sensory safe.
Yeah.
Like what is one thing that you can say right now that you can teach, like for the viewers that are watching?
Yeah. So there's a problem in our industry, and the problem is taking care of individuals with sensory needs, people that are on the autism spectrum, and unfortunately, it's tough for individuals. It's tough for the parents to take them to a spot. A lot of times, unfortunately, they'll get rejected, or they're just embarrassed,
right.
And we just, before, the reason why I got into this was I have twin nephews that are autistic. So I've heard the word autism. A lot of people have heard it, but they don't really know about it unless they're like personally kind of like know someone or have someone in the family. And that's why, because of my nephews, that's why I ended up learning more about it. And because I'm like, oh, okay, I cut hair, so let's take this course, and we educate our industry on what autism is, what it looks like, and then we give you a whole systems and tools for before the service, during the service, and then after the service. So it's this whole process just makes our jobs way easier, and it makes it a lot easier for the parent, the caregiver, the individual. It gives the individual a sense of independence, dignity. There's something we take for granted, like going to get a haircut. To us is like nothing. Like we don't think of it.
And I think everybody deserves a good haircut, regardless of what the circumstances are. Like, I have never turned down a client unless I don't have time. That's the only time I ever turned down a client. And because I do have clients that come to me and they do book online and stuff like that. And they come to me and they always tell me the stories. Oh, I went to this barbershop and they told me no.
Oh, okay.
My kid is this. My kid. I understand that, because I do have clients that have autism, and to me, it's like I don't treat them any different than I do to my regular.
That's
clients.
awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna turn anybody away. And it's sad to, and how you said, it's sad to see that barbershops are turning these people away. And it sucks, because like I said before, like it's one of those things where it does need to be talked about more.
Yeah, and I'll also speak out for the barbers and stylists that actually are like yourself, where they actually take care of individuals with the spectrum, and a lot of times they are, it's great that they're doing it and they are winging it. And what we offer is just going to polish your tools and systems and make everything easier. And then it's also going to let the community know, like, hey, I'm sensory certified. Like, you will feel safe coming to me.
Yeah.
So even though you kind of know how to,
That's
you know,
honestly
how
cool,
to,
dude.
you
Oh my
know,
God.
work with it, that this is going to help you let the community know. And it puts a stamp on there. Like, you know, you're not just winging it. You know what you're doing. And
Like, you know how to handle yourself in
yeah,
situations
and you
like
have
that.
tools.
Yeah,
I mean, they have
and stuff like that.
they have capes that have weights in them. They call it the weighted cape, so it makes them feel like they're being hugged while you're doing the
Really?
haircut.
So there's more to it than just
There's tools. There's brushes that are a lot softer. There's clippers that are a lot quieter. You can't even tell the clippers on when you turn them on.
Interesting.
So
Because I
there's
mean,
a lot of other tools.
like, it's crazy because like diving into tools, I definitely feel like there's certain tools that I use
Yeah.
on my clients that have autism. Like, I love using the JRLs.
JRLs are known
They
for
are very
being
quiet, very, very quiet. I use those, and I use my what are they called? My the new masters aren't as loud anymore, but I love how soft they are for kids, you know.
Oh yeah, the
You
new
know?
masters.
Yeah, the new master, they're a little loud, but what I'll do is I'll let my client like look at it, like, look, it's not gonna hurt you. It's just a clipper. I'm gonna cut your hair with it. Okay, I'm gonna make and for me, whenever I'm cutting any kid on the spectrum, one of the things that I do is I never use the word cut or haircut.
That's good.
Right? I always say, I'm gonna make you look like a gentleman today. I'm gonna make you look handsome today. I never use the word because they hear cut. And
Yeah.
oh my God. Like, and they, you know,
yeah.
you know, so that's one of the things that I learned from a barber that cuts a lot of autistic kids and just kids in general. Like, dude, you never want to use the word cut with kids in general.
That's definitely a good point.
You know, so it's honestly pretty cool. Like, I'm honestly thinking right now, like of investing into learning more into that, because it could be good for the shop.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Definitely
it could be
tell
good
you
for the
all
shop.
about it.
Yeah, man, it could be definitely good for the shop. So how can barbers look into doing the class and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
so definitely they can reach out to me. You have on Instagram, I'm Salvi Styles, so SalviStylez. My phone number is 714-916-2084. Me personally, I like the in-person certification. So
Love it.
let's say, for example, you host the course over here in Los Baños. We'll essentially invite the community. We'll do something for yourself,
Right.
or we certify you for free, and then we'll do group rates for.
That's so cool. Like for the whole shop or something.
Yeah. So we'll do group rates for the shop. We also do it for current enrolled students that are going to barber school or cosmetology school, and we also certify people that are like do massages.
Oh, really?
Do nail techs.
So it's not just barbering at this point. That's
it's
cool.
the hair
It's a
media-
whole.
the hair
It's a
media
whole thing.
industry,
That's
yeah.
awesome, bro. That's awesome.
And then we also, if someone's too far or we can't do a course, we always have the Zoom courses as well. So we can always do it online. So where you could just be from your computer and take the course. It's it's a 2-hour certification. After you finish, we mail you a certificate. We put all your info and your socials on the company website, which is the sensorysafesalon.org, and they have all your info, and
that's literally making me feel inspired, because I definitely feel like that can be good for the shop, and me personally, I'm not gonna like force my barbers to do it, but me personally, I'm one to lead by example, and hoping at least one of them follows. And
I'm sure you've experienced when you take care of someone with on the spectrum, like it's a different feeling, and you'll have like some crazy experiences, and sometimes you'll have, if it hasn't happened, sometimes you'll have parents that are like get emotional because you're taking care of their child.
Yeah, bro. No, dude, it's awesome that you're doing those type of things, because it doesn't get talked about a lot. Like how you said, like that's one of the big issues that I see in the barber industry. Like people will just turn away kids in general. It's like, bro, like if at the end of the day, I feel like barbers nowadays, especially the younger ones, they just want the title. They don't really want to like actually work and take anybody in. They just say, nah, I'm not gonna do that. If it ain't this, which is fine, whatever, But in the beginning, I definitely feel like you need all the experience you can get, regardless of whoever's in your chair, and kids in general will test your patience behind the chair, And it's one of the things I've learned is I have to be professional when a kid in general is just going crying or whatever. I have to keep calm because they feed off my energy,
Right.
know? And I have kids too, so I know how to, in a sense, how to calm that that child down.
And the other crazy thing is that a lot of people, a lot of adults don't even know that they're on the spectrum. So you could be taking care of an adult that is like, you'll notice, you're like, oh, dang, this
Oh,
person's on the
really?
spectrum. And they probably, maybe they're not telling you or they just don't know, but you'll know how to accommodate them. You'll be like, okay, this is too loud, or you want me to dim the lights or whatnot.
XYZ. Oh wow, I never thought of it that way.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Um, so like moving forward, like let's make a full circle on how you said you were in sales and stuff like that. So you worked 9 to 5. How did that impact your mental health, and what lessons came from that?
So working in the wireless industry with the corporate company, that was stressful. So a lot of people that worked in the corporate world, they'll understand what I'm saying when it's stressful, because it's all about numbers and showing that the company's providing numbers. And a lot of times the numbers are being manipulated to show growth.
Oh
So
wow, really?
it's
That's a lot.
it can be stressful. Like I would say the one thing that did help me get through this was the fact that the company was part of a union. So they, the management, all that stuff, they can only push so much, and I was just real big on taking care of customers and really not like screwing them over. But I learned a lot of great customer service, a lot of great sales experience, and a lot of adversity
Okay.
from that.
Okay. And how did you overcome? Because that sounds stressful. Just because like alone, like
It was just really kind of going with my gut and just doing the right thing. Like you'd have people that would come in and be like, oh, they messed up my account. They added these lines and they added this, or they told me my bill was gonna go down, and my bill's like double.
So that's true then.
Yeah, people know
That's
there are a
great.
lot of people out there. I mean, people watching us and listening to us, they were like, "Oh, so that's what happened to myself."
No,
Yeah.
because I was like, that recently happened to me recently, like with my Comcast. Like they told me it was gonna be a certain price, and then my first bill came, and they're like, oh, I mean, what?
They're trying to get a new service or a new deal to show that
The numbers are there. The numbers are there. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something that's really common in the corporate industry.
Like one of the things that I can relate to that is how I run my social media. Like a lot of the times, like I really had to like separate myself from my value from the numbers on my social media.
Yeah.
Like that right there. And so I can attest to that. Like, holy crap, like you had to meet a quota every month. So like I know how that feels. It's really stressful. And like you somewhat attach your value to the numbers. Like, oh crap, man, that means I'm not producing. That means I'm definitely not who I say I am, or XYZ. And it's a lot, so I can definitely relate to that when it comes to my Instagram. Like I used to be all about numbers, but now I'm all about value. Like how can I provide value and the best value for people that I can help. This is why I'm doing the podcast. Like I want people to know me as a person, not just a barber. You know what I mean?
It's good.
Like, so like for barbers listening right now and dealing with burnout or struggling with their mindset, what is one piece of advice you can give for that?
I mean,
because a lot of barbers because a lot of barbers that are going to barber school, they work too.
Yeah, I mean, just keep working at it, because it's gonna pay off in the long run. And people that are already in the industry, I highly encourage to go to a hair show, like a legit one, because that's like what inspires me and motivates me. And I've heard stories of people where they're just kind of going with the motions, but then all of a sudden you go to Premiere Anaheim, or you go to CT Expo, or you go to Premiere Orlando, and you're just like, oh dang, this is dope. Like the classes are dope. Like it's popping. Like the industry's popping. All right, I got to work on this. I got to work on that. So that's one thing. The shows they're like a legit one, not like just like a Barber Expo where it's just competition and there's like no education. Like, I mean, some people love seeing that, and
which is fine, right?
If you're competing, that's cool. You know, it's just
I mean, how do you?
I'm personally more into going to an education
Yeah,
and learning from something that's gonna, it's like an investment in your skills.
yeah, I'm the same way. I'm the same way. And I'd be lying to you if I said I never competed in those shows. But after I competed in those shows, I didn't feel like I got anything out of it. Like it was just like my ego was scratched, and that was
Yeah,
it. You
I
know?
want to try it at least once,
It's cool. It's cool.
but
Like
I
like
don't, I like that's a lot of
pressure.
and then you got to put the money into it and this
Yeah,
and that,
no,
but I guess it's like if you're really, you really got to be into it. Like if you're into it, like real serious, like that's dope.
For me, like and I'm sure you see this all the time too. And like I guess I'm asking for your opinion is like you see barbers that go to these shows and they attach their value to the trophies they win. When in reality, clients don't really care about the trophies you win.
I'd be surprised.
I'd be surprised too.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if I
Yeah.
ever hear like, "Oh, how many trophies do you have, bro?
Yeah.
Do you have 10? Because if you
Yeah.
don't have 10, I'm not gonna book an
I
appointment
mean,
with you."
that's probably like more of a thing of like kind of like respect and stuff in between the barber community, which is
Right.
pretty cool. Like,
Yeah,
like
right.
a friendly competition,
Right.
which is cool.
So I genuinely stopped. I did the bar battle once, and that was it. I just went to go networking, and barbers have this weird relationship when it comes to networking. Like they don't know what networking really is. Like, can you give me like your example or your perspective on what networking is?
I mean, the way I look at it is we're in a huge industry.
Oh, very huge.
We're all going to be very different. So the way I go about it is finding, running into the person where our ideas and values align.
Mhm.
And it is going to be a numbers game. You're going to filter out, okay, like me, like I like how he sees things. I like what he's into, this and that. And you're going to, you know, communicate with a bunch of people. You're
Right.
going to exchange each other's, socials. And then down the road, you know,
Right.
it's a business, we'll say a business relationship
Like a
that
transaction.
blossoms or it doesn't. And it's just a numbers game. And when you're out there, you're networking, you're going to be at a booth with something that you're into, or you're going to take a course and you're
Or
gonna,
something, yeah.
I mean, you do have to put yourself out there. Like,
No, you really,
it's not,
really
you
do.
can't just
Yeah,
be like,
no.
yeah, you just
So-
can't be quiet.
So like my thing with networking, and I'm very big on value for value. Like, how can I make your life easier, and how can you make my life easier? That's my definition of networking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whenever I hear barbers say, "Oh, I'm going to bar battles to network," and they just sit around and they don't really talk to anybody, because you're right, you have to literally throw yourself out there.
For
Because
sure.
if you don't, then no one's really gonna know you like that. You know what I mean? And that's a sad reality, because a lot of barbers a lot of barbers don't have a business problem; they have an awareness problem. Because if you really think about it, how many more sales would you make if everybody knew about Eddie or Paco? Like, how many more sales would you make? A lot more, because there's a lot more eyes on you.
For sure.
And that's where social media comes into place. Like, barbers have this weird relationship with social media where they treat it like, today I'm gonna post. Tomorrow I'm not gonna do it. That video that I posted last week didn't do good, so I'm not gonna post. Like, social media rewards you the longer you do it, because every flop, every video that did horrible, it's gonna teach you something more than that one that did really well.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna teach you what not to do for the next one. You know. And one of the things that I teach now is, especially for social media, is how can I make something as satisfying as possible, and how can I make this as engaging as possible for the average viewer? Because if you really think about it, barbers aren't really gonna come to you for haircuts.
Right.
You know what I mean? The general public is. So the general public isn't really gonna care about your tutorial, or how do you do the what's it called, the how do you take that bottom line out. Like, you got to make things as satisfying as possible for them to watch.
Right.
So that's my thing when it comes to networking and social media. Like, I don't understand why barbers have this whole like weird relationship when it comes to social media, where they treat it as okay, today I'm gonna post and tomorrow I'm good, or I'm gonna say what's up to this guy because I feel like I can get something from him, and then I'm gonna ghost him. It's like, no, that's not how this works. Like, it's a connection and a relationship and community.
And you made a good point earlier, where it's like, how can I add value to you? Like, this is what, let me help you with this.
100%.
Because then it's like, you're gonna get, okay, that person's gonna be like, all right, yeah, that's dope, and then I can help
And
with
yeah,
this
100%. And even if I don't get nothing back, somehow, some way, the universe will pay me back.
for sure.
Because I at the end of the day, whenever I give value, I don't expect it right then and there. I just give it because I'm a natural giver. I just want to help, and I've always been framed that way. Like I always put myself in people's shoes where like I've been there before. I know what it's like to sit at the shop and not have anybody to cut. I know what it's like to be stuck and feel stuck or feel like I'm not worth XYZ. Like I've been there. So my thing is, how can I help and get you out of that funk? Because dude, it's a whole mental thing.
For sure.
You know, it's a whole mental awareness thing too. Like literally nine out of 10 barbers won't say they're struggling because they don't want to look a certain way amongst their peers. And it's like, bro,
Yeah.
if you already feel that way, then you're probably in the wrong shop. That the shop should uplift you and you should grow with the culture of the shop and not just cut hair and that's it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you, like you're in the culture of your own culture, trying to make a name for yourself and what you're trying to do, and that's awesome if you ask me, you know. And
Thank you.
yeah, it's dope, dude. It's really dope, you know. So I encourage you to keep doing it because this is the first time I ever heard something like this, man.
Yeah.
You know,
I hear you.
You know what I mean? And
That was for me.
you know, and the beginning of the podcast, you did mention that we do have a problem in the industry when it comes to like people on the spectrum and turn away kids and what is like one thing for you that like got you started on that? Like what gravitated? Well, it was your nephews, right? But what else gravitated towards you to doing that?
You know what? I mean, that was the main thing, and I do look back and I'm like, it's kind of unfortunate, but I do think to myself, man, if I didn't have my nephews that were on the spectrum, there's a 50-50 chance that I wouldn't even care for this or want to even look into that. So it's like, we shouldn't have to wait till it hits close to home. Yeah. You know, we should just, and it's not even about like giving an amazing haircut. Like they just want to be taken care of, you know?
Right.
And then I would say like one thing that might be an objection, and it did cross my mind when I took the course, is like, you know, we in our industry, we charge for our time. So we have a 30, we'll say for example, 30-minute haircut, 45-minute haircut, and then an hour haircut.
Right.
And that's it. Like we, as professionals, we don't have to be concerned with that. Mm-hmm. The only thing is like, you know, just like your clients, you're going to have clients that you got your Walmart clients, you got your Target clients, and then you got the next high-end store, which is, I don't know, we'll say like Save Mart or like the bougie store.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Oh, excuse me. But it's cool that you say that and you actually have a perspective where like you understand that there's different levels to it, because a lot of ours can't grasp that, you know? They don't grasp it, and they just like sit around and just hope, because hope is not a strategy. You have to literally like go towards it.
You have to have something to offer for, like you said, for that high ticket. Like if you want to offer that high ticket, you better be fire at your clippers, your shears, and then maybe even do women's hair as well.
Dude, that's one thing I want to get into.
Yeah,
and shout out Freddie. Shout out Freddie.
Freddie.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Me and Freddie often talk about. I honestly, when I had him on the podcast, he has a very hungry mindset. And I just love being around that guy. like he's a very humble and hungry guy that I feel like everyone should be around that guy. But me and him could talk about hair for hours. And that came up is like, how can I make myself more valuable? And it's literally doing women hair, or just not even women hair. I think that there's this like this perception of, oh, it's women hair and barbers don't do it. It's switch the perception. It's just longer lengths. Right, like it's not women hair, because men have long lengths too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So some men just want a trim around the ears, or like, you know what I mean. And believe it or not, that those type of haircuts are a lot easier than a taper or a fade. Like I don't know if you've ever done, or you've done a scissor work haircut before.
Like
it's quick. It's quick.
It can be quick.
It's quick. like well, because I'm learning. Yeah. I've learned the sectioning and stuff like that.
But it's dope. Like and
there's more technical things that go into like a taper or a fade. But But the reason why I feel like it's so sought out and more valuable is because there's not a lot of people that do it. Like especially barbers. Like barbers are so caught up in designs, and I'm sure that's what you see in school now. Is like designs.
Some people do designs. I might do one or two little designs and I'm straight.
I'm good. I was literally about to ask you like, what is like your like
cool.
like what is like your your thoughts on designs right now, man?
I think it's cool. Like the kids like it, you know, and I definitely want to be able to learn how to do
At least
little
something,
basic,
right?
little basic
Little basic.
design, but it's definitely not my cup of tea, you know.
Yeah, no, yeah. I don't like doing them, but somehow, some way, I'll figure it out. You know, I'm not known for designs. Like if we're going back on the high ticket thing, one thing that I can say, if you want to charge high ticket, is specialize in something. Like you'll hear it all the time that barbers want to specialize or do every single hair texture. Like the top barbers that are charging 100 and up, they're specializing in one or two things. You know, and so if you can specialize on just one thing, or dude, at the end of the day, that can take you to the next thing. And for you, it could be, you know, cutting kids on the spectrum. That could be your next thing. You being all so overfilled, booked out for the end of the year. I can see that being for you, being booked out with just people that trust you, with their family members or kids that have, you know what I mean? That just creates way more for your brand and you as a professional. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, because people at the end of the day, bro, like I said before, people pay for what they value, and that value comes attached to literally anything.
Let me ask you this: have you ever messed with hair replacements?
I've thought about it, but I've never. I
Now that is something, bro.
I took a course on it.
You did take it?
Yeah, I took a course on it 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
And it was something that it caught my attention, but it wasn't something that I really wanted to do. I'm really more into like the longer lengths and stuff like that. I really want to get into women hair and like.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of people ask me, well, why don't you do color? And I did color in college, and I don't.
Into the whole color.
I'm not into the color, man. I'm not into the color. I tried it, but shout out Freddie. He loves color. I can't do it.
We're gonna have to get some female mannequins and just start
doing it.
Doing some stuff, man.
No, yeah. I can't do it. For me, it's just a mess.
But you like cutting women's hair?
Or longer lengths, like longer lengths. I say longer lengths because my girlfriend's gonna watch this.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, dude. So what's the best advice that you've ever received that shaped your career today? Like, what is like that one thing that you can remember?
Oh man, the best advice that has shaped my career.
It's a good one, huh?
Man, that's a good one, right? I mean, it makes me think of like going back to like one of my favorite books is Rich Dad Poor Dad. You familiar with that one? And he drops some gems, and it's just like he's just like, I mean, that's what I think about is like, you know, mind your own business and invest in yourself. So when you're working at a job or whatever, mind your business, and outside of your job, work on investing in yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's safe to say majority of us, we want financial freedom, we want financial wealth, and realistically, I personally believe realistically is the best way to go about it, is just investing in it'll be a business or a combination of stocks or
something, or a skill or something.
You know, like a skill set, a job definitely, you know, will can go a long ways, but it can only go so far.
I mean, believe it or not, like you're just full-time school right now?
Right now, I'm full-time.
Yeah, see, like when I was in barber school, I was working at a second job, and I was also cutting hair on the side. So you're right, you have to invest in yourself and do a skill while you're working, because it just makes you more valuable as a person to yourself, and to get closer to, like how you said, we all want financial freedom, we all want wealth. You know what I mean? So if you're out there working and you're not happy with whatever you're doing, try to figure out what skill can you learn to make yourself more valuable as a person. And how you said it, the more value you are as a person, the more you're gonna get paid. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why a lot of people go to college. They go to college for doctors, lawyers, XYZ. Why? Because it makes them more valuable as a person.
Yeah.
You know, so if you can give one piece of advice to a barber just starting out, especially one dealing with sensory challenges or working with special needs clients, what would it be?
I mean, one is just treat them like human, like a human being, and definitely, if definitely become sensory certified, so that way you understand how to work with individuals, and you have these tools and systems that's going to make everything a lot easier.
Okay, that's dope. Yeah, because to add to that, I definitely feel like a lot of barbers don't know how to handle themselves, and they get nervous, and it's not their fault in a sense. Well, I guess it's in a sense it's their fault, but like they don't really know how to handle themselves in those high pressure situations where they freak out and then they don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and there's, it's, you also want to be able to know who in your community is experienced in that and can provide the service, so that way you can be like, hey, this is I know someone that that I can refer you to, that will take care of you, and you'll know, like, at least you'll be educated, you'll know what sensory needs or autism looks like, and you'll know your community and professionals in your community that are able to take care of individuals that, because sometimes there are ones that are really, really challenging. You're gonna have there's individuals that are nonverbal, and they'll move around.
Have you already?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I've had one client.
What's that experience like?
He was 5, 6 years old. We started the first session. We didn't even do a haircut. We were just talking, coloring book, and I was able to at least touch his hair, to build his trust. The second time, it was, he's, a lot of times they're traumatized from previous experiences. So once they see the clipper, or they don't even have to see it turn on, they already know they're
having
to stay away. And the second time, I got a mannequin, and I would get out the hair and I would cut the hair, and he was just kind of looking like out of curiosity. And then there was another one where he was 4 years old. As soon as he was getting in the chair, he took off his shirt, and I asked him, like, hey, do you want to put your shirt on so you don't, get uncomfortable? And the mom was like, oh, he takes his shirt off so that way he doesn't get hair on his shirt. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Sat him on a chair. She's like, I want a mid fade with we'll say it was a 6 on top. And I was like, all right, bet. And then boom, like, I got to work and I knocked it out in like 20 minutes, because I knew,
you have to be kind of,
once they let you cut your hair, you
have to
gotta take advantage and boom, knock it out. So that was pretty cool. I knocked out, that was my fastest fade, 20 minutes.
Oh wow. Yeah, the reason why I asked is because I feel like that's a perspective that a lot of barbers need to hear. First of all, because how you said, like a lot of barbers turn people away with those things, and that's a sad thing to hear. Because at the end of the day, like I said before, I believe everybody deserves a good haircut, regardless of the situation. But what changes do you think need to happen in barber schools to better accommodate people with sensory?
The first change right now is to make it part of the textbook.
That's I was about to say,
hands down, we need a chapter in a textbook that is on accommodating services for individuals with
sensory needs,
with special needs,
special needs,
like any kind of special need.
Yeah,
and that should be hands down required by law and the whole country.
That's I could agree to that, because I'm never gonna turn away anybody that books a haircut on my end, especially if they're gonna pay or whatever. I'm never gonna do that, regardless. So I do agree on that. I do think that should be in the textbook, which I don't understand why it's not already. Because
there's been times where, like, you'll have a textbook and it'll say, there's a sentence that says you may have to make accommodations for an individual,
and that's like already like giving.
And that's a sentence. That's it for the whole we'll say 300-400 page textbook.
And it's crazy because like that whole textbook, I fucking hate it because it's a repeat of the same shit. If you actually study it, it's a repeat of the same shit. Like, and most of it's not even teaching you how to cut hair. It's just sanitation and chemical work and making sure you're not.
It's been a while since the books are pretty good now.
Oh, really?
They're
really?
pretty. They got like now they got textbooks that are like on everything, and then it comes with another textbook that's like on the whole business aspect and being healthy and all this and that.
Oh,
like
what
so.
the hell?
There's a new edition that just came out from Milady. Yeah.
What I have.
It's a lot's changed in the last couple of
yeah,
days.
yeah. I was about to say, yeah, because dude, like when I was in barber college, I've recently found out that they took it down from 1,500 hours to 1,000.
Yeah,
which is wild to me because I took the whole 1,500 hours, and now when you go take your test, it's just a written test. It's no longer the practical. The practical made me sweat bullets, bro. That thing was fucking horrible. I fucking hate it. I hated every minute of it, but luckily I passed it. And if any barber out there is struggling to getting your license, just study the book, because at the end of the day, you pass that book once or that test once, and you never have to take it again.
Yeah, you just got to renew your license.
Yeah,
every
which
year.
is every 2 years. 2 years, I think.
Every 2 years.
It's only $50 every 2 years.
Yeah.
So like moving forward to the future, like what do you see for the barber industry, and what excites you about it?
Man, what do I see? I definitely see there's going to be a shift where people are really going to be looking at education and becoming versatile, because people they want to make more, they want to set themselves apart. And you asked me, what do I see, and what was the other question? What I see in the industry?
Yeah, what do you see? Like, what excites you about the industry?
What excites me is learning all these things about like men's hair, women's hair. Like,
I can tell.
I've taken some education. Learning. With the long hair and learning squared and round and graduation and all that stuff. Like, I'm into that.
That's sick, bro. Yeah, I'm the exact same way.
And just being freelancing as well, like, because as you know, there's an art to our game. So now you're doing the cut, and then I'm definitely into the coloring game. So, and then I'm also into the entertainment industry. So before I got into this, I was into the entertainment industry. I used to promote comedy shows.
Oh, really?
Music, movies. I loved all that.
That's so cool.
So in our industry, there is an entertainment aspect to it, because there's entertainment at the hair shows. The content that we're putting out, that's entertainment.
Yeah.
And people love entertainment.
Oh, they love seeing that shit. Oh, video. Fuck yeah, bro.
They love seeing like, and I'm into all that.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So let's touch bases on that. So you said you were
I produced, I would put on a comedy show, stand-up comedy. I would book a couple of comedians. I would find a spot, put up the speakers and promote it, do ticket sales. I even dabbled with it. I did a little bit of stand-up myself.
Okay, so it explains why you're so because I hear you talk with conviction. So it explains why,
like no fear.
Yeah, no fear. It explains a lot, because believe it or not, dude, it took me a lot to get used to doing even the intro for the podcast. I fucking needed to say that a few times for myself. I'm Barber Paco, and I'm the host of both of our podcasts. I needed to literally believe it before I said it, so that's pretty cool, and I definitely feel like that already puts you ahead of the game when it comes to when it comes to connecting with people, because if you can communicate your message quicker, you can move faster. You can make more, you can get paid more.
I'm up there in age.
That's where
I'm a lot older than you too. I heard you in your podcast. You're in your early 30s.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I'm 40.
I'm 30. I'm 31, bro.
See,
31.
That I envy that. You started hella early. Things are popping, and I feel like,
hey, believe it or not, bro, I still have my I'm still going through, even though regardless of how I feel or how I'm thinking or imposter syndrome creeps up, I still show up.
Yeah.
Like it may look like that on social media, but I still have my adversities, you know,
Okay.
that I
Like your challenges.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, like, you know, and I'm
Like what to do with all the money.
that more so that, but more so managing it, bro.
Yeah,
managing.
that's good.
You manage, bro. Like at the end of the day, dude. Like you can make a lot of money, but if you're not keeping any of
Right.
it, what the fuck's the
I heard
point?
you say that. I heard you say you were a big spender on
Yeah.
a party animal back in the day.
Yeah, I was in my early 20s, bro. I was
You're popping bottles at the club.
no, I was big on weed, bro. I was big on
Oh, I
weed.
heard that.
I was a big ass pothead. I used to I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be very transparent. I would spend $800 a month on weed, bro.
Oh yeah, I never did that.
Yeah. You say,
It's a cheap ass.
you know, especially when in my early days when I started cutting hair, I went from making $400 every 2 weeks to making $400 a week, and then from there, it went from $400 a week to $800 a week, and then from there, it went from
Just kept on going up.
it just kept on going up and up because I was so serious and so like, and I'm still, and then the only thing that's changed now is the stakes are higher now. Like I built this. It took me 10 years to get to where I'm at today.
Yeah,
like,
family, kids.
I have 2 kids.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And when you have kids, you some way along the road you realize that you're not building what you're building for yourself.
Yeah,
You're building it for your family. You're building it for people around you. So you can take them out. So you can do the whole financial freedom
it's a whole
thing.
different ballgame. Right,
It's a
there
whole
when you have
different,
a family.
yeah, bro. Like there's no breaks. You know, maybe a 5-minute break here and there.
Oh, 5-minute break.
You know, when I'm
Just tap the brakes a little bit.
yeah,
a little
just
tap,
and then I gotta get back again. Yeah,
back to
and one of the things one of the things I realized too, as being an adult and being a business owner and being a father, is I have short moments of bliss, like very, very short moments of like, okay, nothing else matters. But then like it comes right back up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get up and go, you know. So that is one thing that I feel like if any our barber that's out there listening to this on the fence of learning how to cut hair, do it. Because
it's funny you say that. That's the one thing I looked at before I pulled the trigger. I'm like, dude, this investment makes so much sense. Because we'll say on average, school is between, on the low end, we're talking about 10K, 10, 14K,
right.
on the high end, 17K. And it's like, dude, you could do that, knock it out in a year or less. Now you have a skill set, and you have if it doesn't pan out the way it, as far as a career wise, this skill set will never go away, and you're gonna have a way to generate income
regardless
of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of as well put me over. That's a no-brainer.
Like for me, like at first when I started cutting hair and when I started, I was just a barber, and that's the mindset I had. Now, fast forward 10 years later, I have an entrepreneur mindset where like I'm trying to break out and help barbers scale their businesses and teach them how to make content for marketing on Instagram. And I owe it to the barber industry for me to break into the entrepreneur space, because entrepreneurship is not easy, bro.
For sure.
It's not easy. Would you say what you were doing before, is that considered entrepreneurship?
The closest I've gone to entrepreneurship, I'll say, was when I was actually producing stand-up comedy events. So
And that's what I was getting at. Yeah.
So that's like, you book a show at a theater and you're putting your own money on there. So if it doesn't, if the ticket sales aren't up there, you're the one that's asked out a couple G's. And
Right.
I've been through that. So I did that for a while, and I had my successes, and then I had my shows that didn't hit. So, and it's something that I still plan on doing in the future, because that's something I'm into. I'm passionate about it, and I love the business aspect of it. And so that's going to be the closest I personally had as far as entrepreneurship.
That's awesome. Because I and this pivots me to talking about branding and how you are a brand regardless if you know it or not.
Absolutely.
And the quicker you realize that, the quicker you can go somewhere. There's this I don't know if you've seen the movie Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah. There's just one scene. It was one scene in this movie that just makes me think about like where I'm going, right?
Okay.
So it's when Alice gets to the crossroads and there's 2 signs, and then the cat shows up.
Okay.
The cat's like, where are you going? And Alice is like, oh, I don't know. and the cat's like, well, either way, you're going somewhere.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, I'd rather know where I'm going, because regardless, you're going somewhere, regardless if you know it or not.
For sure.
So you might as well know where you're going. So when I heard that, and then now that I'm 30, in my 30s, that still, it stuck with me for 30 some years. Like, I'm like, holy crap. Like, I think about that. I'm like, okay, where are you going, Pac? Like, where is this podcast going to take you? Like, for me, the reason why I'm doing this podcast is to make connections. That's number one. I want to open up doors for myself, but also open up doors for other people, because I have a platform. Why not use it for good? Like, why not just not only help myself, but help other people with that platform? I have 40,000 people people on my Instagram. So if I can collaborate with different accounts and show your face on my account, like, it's a win-win, you know? So that's my thought process when it comes to branding and entrepreneurship, because a lot of barbers don't take themselves serious when it comes to those type of things, and it's honestly sad because they never realize that they're caught in that hamster wheel of just cutting hair all day. Right?
And it's funny I say about the whole building connections, because you're would you safe to say that out of your followers, there's a good chunk of them that are business, they're barber professionals, right?
Right.
So, for example, as far as the sensory safe solution, I took this certification and fell in love with it, and they offer to become an educator if that's something you're into and you want to take the next step. So there could be someone out there that's like, all right, this is sick, I want to learn about this, and then they take the certification,
they take the next
and
step.
then they're like, oh, I want to teach this, because right now in California there's 2 of us. For all of California, there's 2 educators that live in California. Like, that's,
oh wow,
yeah, that's like, it's absurd. Like, we you know, we're growing fast. You know, it's been around for 2 years, and there's,
but still, it's like you were thinking it'd be a lot bigger than
right. And it's we're in other countries as well, like Puerto Rico, Mexico.
That's so cool.
So you know, it's something that's blown up.
That's so cool.
So I hope to connect with your followers.
Yeah, no, yeah, 100%. Yeah, no.
Someone out there's gonna be like,
you know, no. So one of the things that I
before random state,
no, so it's crazy because a lot of my followers, I have a lot of followers from India. A lot of
from India.
Yeah,
okay,
watch
out.
Yeah, so it's crazy because I looked at my analytics.
All right, I gotta know this story.
I know, right? So I looked at my analytics not too long ago, and the number 1 city that I am popular in, trip out, and I don't know, and I hate to get political with this, but it is Tehran, bro.
Tehran in
India. Yeah, Tehran. Okay. You know how the whole thing goes?
Okay.
So in my head, I'm like, people are out there watching my stuff.
Because you spoke on some of the stuff that's out there.
No, I never have. I never spoke about anything.
So how do you think you connected with them?
Probably, I have a lot of Indian clients. Probably,
yeah.
Like maybe. I mean, I don't know.
They're like, no,
I don't know.
This guy,
but and then number 2 is
cool.
Obviously Los Banas. Number 3 is Fresno, and then number 4 is the Bay Area.
Yeah.
But number 1 is Tehran, India. And it's so crazy because in my head I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I'm creating content that's very eye catching, very very stimulating.
Okay.
So and there's not really words being said. It's just action shots and stuff like that. So, but in my head I'm like, bro, with everything going on over there right now, people are still watching my stuff, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I'm onto something, right? So if I can make some kind of like connection over there,
yeah,
where it be a sale or whether it be with somebody that's in the hair industry over there, bro, it can be another thing over there too, you know?
Once you're onto something, you push it, right? You just go hard with it.
You always want to do the thing that works.
Yeah.
And do it repeatedly and then obviously tweak it as you go because over time, what's going to end up happening is that people are going to catch on what you're doing, and then they're going to like, if that works for him, why wouldn't it work for me? Which is a thought that you should have.
For sure.
Why wouldn't it work for you? Of course, it's going to work for you. So along the way, you have to tweak what you're doing, because if you don't, then you're going to fall off, and then you're going to have to figure out how to get those numbers up again. And it goes back full circle on what you were saying with the whole corporate thing, the whole numbers thing. It could be exhausting, man.
Yeah.
It could be very exhausting, with social media and then raising a family and all that. So it's a lot, man. So, but like, what do you see yourself after barber school?
After barber school, I mean, definitely gonna be putting in the reps with doing the hair.
Awesome.
And one thing I didn't mention was I originally wanted to be a teacher, And just because of the
Like school teacher or like
school
barber-
teacher,
barber-
yeah,
okay.
a school teacher, but just because like I did end up in a sales job where I was making more than a teacher, so it just like
Made more-
going to school and all that stuff. It just it was unfortunate, but that's just what it was. So I was like, man, I'm not gonna go to school to be. And I just love helping people,
Right.
and then I definitely love helping the younger generation. So education in the barber industry, that's like a big thing. So I love helping people. So down the road, I could definitely see myself kind of dabbling in the education industry and just helping people advance their skill sets and hair. So
That's awesome.
That's something I definitely see down the road.
That's awesome, bro. Well, dude, this was a good conversation. I'm
Yes,
not gonna
sir.
lie. I definitely want you back for part 2 because we spoke about it off.
Part two.
I spoke about it off
Part
camera.
two.
I'm very curious to hear
part
it,
two.
and I'm sure my followers and listeners will love to hear that story too.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. Part 2 is coming very soon. So before we end this, I want you to let the listeners know where they can find you and more information on the sensory solutions, stuff like that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I'm Eddie Portillo, a regional educator for the Sensory Safe Solution out of Visalia, California. And you can find me on Instagram. It's going to be Salvi Styles with the Z at the end. It's spelled SalviStylez. And we could, I'd love to come to your town. I love to travel and host and teach a class, or if not, we could always do it through Zoom. And if this is something you're into and you want to help, teach, let's do it.
Let's run it.
Let's run it.
So, and then I am your host, Paco, and where you can find me and my frameworks, you can find me on Instagram, Barber PVCO. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Please be specific because this was a great episode and we would love to help you guys if you guys have any questions. But moving forward, I'm your host, Barber Paco, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. That was cool, bro.
That was dope.
That was dope, bro.